So recently, I've been feeling bored and had an itch of wanting to read something new. So I went and asked a friend for a recommendation on what to read, thus resulting in this video being made. So I was lent a copy of this light novel called Dragon and Ceremony, which was apparently recently published on the 18th of January 2022, and it currently has up to 3 volumes out at the moment, and I've only read the first volume so far, with the title being Dragon and Ceremony from a Wandmakers perspective. So the first volume has only 4 chapters which spans across 248 pages. The first volume delivers a really simple and straightforward story while being set in a world that provides us nuggets of its rich history and lore to explore that tells us readers that there is potentially a lot more happening behind the scenes and events that might affect the power structure of the different kingdoms. So throughout the volume, we learn that the main superpower in the world is the current kingdom, which has managed to conquer and occupy lands of other races such as the elves and animal-like people. So the main heroine of the story, Yui, is also from one of the lands that the kingdom has recently conquered, which is called Lakuta. So throughout the story, she keeps her face hidden under a hood to remain unseen from the public, so as to avoid the looks of scorn and discrimination from the locals of the kingdom. The plot of the first volume brings us along on her journey to repair her broken wand, which was given to her by her father during the war between Lakuta and the kingdom, where it is implied that he lost his life together with Yui's mother and brother, leaving Yui on her own. So the volume starts with our hero of the story, the wandmaker apprentice, Ix, whose master, known as the best wandmaker, Munzil, has recently deceased and is now forced to close down the wand shop and move on. This is where the first meeting between Yui and Ix occurs as they cross paths and Yui asks for directions to the wand shop in the village that Ix just left. And while failing to inform Yui that the wand shop is no longer in business, while instead mistaking her for someone who was looking to purchase the property, Ix tells her the direction and goes on his merry way, only to encounter her again afterwards and gets a mouthful from her. Ix then learns that Yui came to find the wand shop in order to repair her wand and reads the contract that his master, Munzil, had made, which indicated that the wand will be repaired without a fee if requested within the next 300 years, and if it requires repairs after his death, the job would fall to the first of his apprentices who reads the contract, then proceeds to call them a simpleton. This leads to Ix having to take on the job despite not actually being a full-fledged wandmaker since he doesn't have his license yet. However, the wand that Yui has is special as its core is made of something powerful and rare, which leads Ix to get the help of his senior, Morna, who was known as the best among all of Munzil's apprentices. So the two then figure out that the wand is made from a material known as a dragon heart, and we learn that dragons are beings with infinite magic and are immensely powerful beings. But in the current era, dragons have not been seen for thousands of years, and the knowledge of them have been obscured from history and only remain as myth and legends. So the task of repairing the wand became seemingly impossible. Thus, we follow the pair, Ix and Yui, as they spend the majority of time researching and concocting far-fetched theories as to where and what happened to the dragons of ages past, and if they were even real to begin with. The first clue that seemed promising was a request made to the Adventurers Guild where the words were carved with magic onto a thin black sheet of stone which wrote, "Research Dragon Mount Agnes." So when reading this, Ix thought that the request form must have been written a long time ago with old grammar as it had no preposition. This request form, together with the journal written by someone who lived there, which included information on a festival related to a dragon, leads the pair to go on a trip to visit the town, Agnes Ruse, which was located near the volcano called Mount Agnes. So despite the locals of the town being clueless of any dragon or festival related to them, the pair kept searching and found the granddaughter of the person who wrote the journal about the festival many years ago, and confirmed that there was a festival long ago, but which only involved a fake man-made puppet dragon and a ritual where a child would have to carry a torch and burn the fake dragon to then be rewarded with gold found underneath it. The festival has long been abandoned due to the town following a new order religion which rejected festivals and decorations. So due to the realization that the festival never involved a real dragon, Ix and Yui almost decided to leave, but before they did, Ix decided to try one last option, which was to climb the volcano, Mount Agnes, and try to recreate the ritual with the torch to see if it would bear any fruit. So after the pair reached the peak, and not finding any noteworthy clues or revelations, Ix decides to throw the torch into the volcano as a last-hitch effort to see if something would happen, but still, nothing did. So as Ix and Yui turn to leave, the volcano starts shaking and quaking vigorously, scaring the two. Moments after the vibration stopped, the two hears a voice, something that is not human and from somewhere unknown. They realize the voice they heard must be a dragon, and we learn that the thought that there might have been a dragon within the volcano was false, but instead, Mount Agnes itself was the volcano. Dragons have become so big that they have now become hidden in plain sight. The dragon, Agnes, tells us that dragons can live for many years, and that thousands of years ago, many of them decided to sleep to be able to finally rest. But when the humans, who used to be called the people of fire by the dragons, begged the dragons not to leave them due to their reliance on the dragons and their unlimited power, this made the dragons assign the youngest of them to remain and continue to grant wishes to the people of fire and other beings for as long as they needed, thus leading Agnes to be the last dragon who remained for thousands of years, granting the humans who ventured up the volcano their wishes once every year. But as time passed, the humans created a festival in order to preserve and remember the dragon. But as time went on and people began to forget, no longer did the humans scale the volcano or carried out the rituals and festivals. So Ix tells Agnes that he no longer has to wait for the humans and grant their wishes, and that the humans do not even remember or know of him anymore. The only reason Ix and Yui even found him was basically by accident. This leads to Agnes acknowledging that the job entrusted upon him is now finished, and he can now join his brethren and rest in slumber. But not before granting both Yui and Ix each a wish. So ultimately, after weeks of research and theorizing, they managed to acquire a dragon heart that is so big that Ix can barely wrap his arms around it, which will be able to repair Yui's broken wand. So that was basically the general plot of the main events that occurred in Volume 1. I've skipped many things from Yui's story to Ix's inability to use magic, and even the myriad of characters that appeared in the story from Yui's adventurer friends, and many more that you can learn and experience yourself, as I recommend you to read and understand the story from your own perspective and form your own opinions on it. For me, the story was filled with a lot of mystery and intrigue, but it can feel stagnant at times since the majority of the story is them doing research and finding clues on where to locate the dragon heart. The main hook of the story for me are the characters as we follow them and learn more about their history and experiences which shape them into who they are and the way they approach different situations due to the way they are brought up. The world does have intricate details and allows us to learn many of how the towns and kingdoms work and how they interact with each other, to even the hierarchy of the society. So go out there and get a copy of A Dragon and Ceremony if you enjoy world building and the sense of adventure and mystery, but without much action involved. I'll most likely make videos on volume 2 and 3 once I'm done with them, so look forward to it. And with that, I'll see you all next time.